Heaven tried to deliver you purpose with peace on August 15, but your doubt deflected it. Archangel Michael is still standing guard, but the gate is closing fast. You have 2 minutes left to enter. August 15 was not just another day. It was not ordinary, not random, not missed by heaven's eye. It was etched into the divine calendar before you ever drew your first breath. Long before you knew how deeply your calling would cost you, the heavens had already selected this day to move on your behalf. August 15 was a spiritual pivot, a divine doorway prepared by the hand of the Most High. On that date, purpose and peace were not simply sent as gifts. They were assigned to you, bundled in a sacred delivery only your spirit could recognize. A divine package of clarity, instruction, healing, and forward momentum was released into your life's orbit. But what was meant to line with met with Ethidaium. What was scheduled to shift your entire season collided with a moment of doubt. You felt it, didn't you? At tension. At slight, invisible resistance. At sense of something more being available, yet slightly out of reach. That was not imagination. That was not coincidence. That was not confusion. That was a holy assignment delayed by the brief pause of your faith. A single second of internal hesitation deflected the very thing your soul cried out for. Archangel Michael was dispatched that day, not as a messenger, but as a guardian of the gate. He stood with sword drawn, holding back the forces of chaos that wanted to distract you just long enough to miss the alignment. And still, he stands. Still he waits. But the gate is no longer wide open. It groans. It trembles. It narrows. This is not symbolic. This is not a poetic metaphor. This is a real portal in the realm of the spirit, and what once stood wide as an invitation now shrinks under the weight of divine timing. This message is not for every soul. It is not a blanket call. It is for the ones who felt it, the ones whose hearts stirred on August 15, yet were held back by something they couldn't name. If you were one of them, you already know. You've been uneasy ever since. Restless. Questioning. Wondering what slipped through your fingers. Let it be known, the gate is not yet shut. It is closing, yes. But there is still a crack wide enough for the obedient, still enough for the bold, urgent enough for those who refuse to delay again. The conditions are clear. You must be still. You must listen. You must act without delay. For the next 2 minutes, and possibly only 2, your alignment will determine whether this delay becomes a detour of years or a testimony of instant alignment. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Pause. Breathe. Slow your mind, steady your soul, and listen with the ears of your spirit, not your flesh. For in this moment, in this very breath, Archangel Michael stands between you and the very forces that have warred against your destiny. His wings are outstretched. His sword is drawn. He is guarding the portal heaven opened for you on August 15, and his voice now echoes through this message with divine urgency. Enter now, or remain where you are for a season that was never meant to last this long. This is not a message for the masses. This is not a word for the comfortable. This is not some recycled encouragement from yesterday's promise. This is heaven's direct interruption, right now, to confront the storm of hesitation that answered the door when peace came knocking. And the Holy Spirit says this: you were not ignored. You were intercepted. You felt the shift on August 15. You felt the pause in your chest. You felt the pull on your mind. You felt the moment when peace came so close you could almost taste it, only for it to vanish like smoke. That was not heaven withholding. That was your doubt deflecting what had been prepared for you. Peace arrived on assignment. Purpose was tethered to that moment. And all of heaven was watching, waiting to see if your heart would say yes in stillness, or no in subconscious fear. But here is the mercy. Though the moment slipped, Michael is still standing. Though the gate trembles, it has not yet shut. And you, yes, you, are still on heaven's list. This message is a reminder of who you are. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not being punished. You are being awakened. You are being summoned. You are being invited to finish what heaven started on August 15. Right now, you must choose. Right now, your yes or your silence echoes louder than your history. In these next 2 minutes, your decision will shift your timeline. Hear me clearly. There are things in the spirit realm that only activate when your obedience matches divine timing. August 15 was not a mistake. You were not wrong to feel something shifting that day. What you called confusion was a collision between your old mindset and your future mantle. What you called rejection was actually redirection. And now, Michael stands in the breach, holding open a gate that cannot be forced, only entered. Do not think this is a metaphor. It is not. There is a real-time portal hovering over your life, and only those who choose stillness, obedience, and immediate action will pass through it. You can feel it, can't you? That internal pressure, that invisible tug, that weight pressing down on your chest. That's not anxiety, that's heaven whispering. You're at the threshold. Don't delay again. Look back for a moment. Since August 15, what has tried to take your peace? Who walked away without cause? What plans began to unravel, not because they were cursed, but because they were misaligned with what heaven was trying to bring into your life? This was not random warfare. This was a spiritual recalibration. This was the separation before the elevation. This was purpose demanding your full attention. Michael is not just watching. He is warring. He is actively standing between you and the distractions that tried to seduce you back into cycles that have no place in your next season. And now, as the heavenly clock ticks, he holds open the gate for one final invitation. Enter now. But know this, the gate is not yours to keep open. That is heaven's role. You were never meant to control the timing, only to respond to it. And that response must come now. Whispers will try to tell you that you missed your chance. They are lying. Pride will try to convince you that you need more time. That is fear disguised as wisdom. And fear has no seat at heaven's table. Only faith does. So rise. Decide. Speak your yes aloud. Because in the spirit realm, silence can sometimes sound like a no. Let Michael's sword carve a path for you. Let this moment redeem the one that passed. You are not too late, but you are nearly out of time. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. You didn't imagine it. The shift you felt on August 15, that sudden inner silence, that strange disorientation, that inexplicable pause, it was not emotional instability. It was not overthinking. It was spiritual sabotage, launched in perfect precision, designed to cloud your clarity at the exact moment heaven released purpose and peace to you. What was supposed to settle your spirit, instead stirred confusion. What was sent to calm you suddenly felt weighty. Why? Because what you were feeling wasn't just your emotions, it was spiritual interference. There are whispers in your atmosphere. Not all of them are people. Some are invisible influences. Others are subtle voices, woven into conversations, embedded in disappointments, disguised as casual doubt. These whispers don't scream. They don't confront. They don't challenge you directly. No, they are far more dangerous than that. They suggest. They nudge. They hint. And on August 15, they were sent with one mission: to introduce hesitation just long enough to make you miss heaven's release. And for a moment they succeeded. The disruption was almost surgical. As peace drew near, as your atmosphere began to shift, the unseen realm responded. It couldn't stop the blessing. It couldn't reverse heaven's decision. But it could distract you. It can derail your reception. The goal was not to cancel the blessing. It was to make you question if you were truly ready for it. And the moment that question lodged itself in your heart, doubt became your doorkeeper. You felt it ever since. The emotional unrest, the mental second-guessing, the spiritual fatigue. These are not side effects of life. They are the residue of warfare you didn't even realize you were in. Since August 15, you've been walking with invisible weights. You've noticed the tension in rooms that once felt peaceful. You've sensed the shift in relationships, people around you growing distant, passive-aggressive, or strangely cold. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual discernment alerting you. There are people around you right now, maybe even people you trust, who sense something is happening in your life. They can't name it. They don't know the specifics. But their spirits detect the nearness of your breakthrough. And because they are unsettled in their own purpose, their presence has unknowingly become a place where whisperers hide. Your comments come lightly. Are you sure that's the right decision? Maybe wait a little longer. I just don't want you to get your hopes up. But listen to the voice within you. The Holy Spirit is saying, what they call caution is actually contamination. What they label concern is veiled resistance. You must understand, not everyone who walks with you can war with you. Not everyone who prays for you is positioned to protect your purpose. And not everyone in your circle is equipped to discern the gate that Michael is holding open. You must be brave enough to disconnect emotionally from what looks safe but feels off. Peace will never require you to ignore your spiritual instincts. And right now, your instincts are crying out, something happened on August 15 and I've not been the same since. That's because your spirit is still trying to process a moment that was meant to mark you, but was almost muffled by doubt. You have been under a silent attack, disguised as introspection. The enemy doesn't always use fear. Sometimes he uses delay. Sometimes he uses relationships. Sometimes he uses weariness. And sometimes he uses your own voice against you. But no more. The veil is lifting now. The mystery is unraveling. What was hidden in your confusion is now being revealed in clarity. You didn't miss it. You were manipulated away from it. But the manipulation ends now. Your emotions were stirred not because you're weak, but because you are dangerous to darkness. The enemy only plants disruption in ground that's about to produce harvest. And that disruption proves something. August 15 was your divine appointment. Heaven had every intention of elevating you that day. And even though doubt deflected the first delivery, Archangel Michael never left the gate. And now, the question becomes, will you still let your emotions dictate your obedience? Or will you rise above the noise of internal disruption and say, this time, I will not miss it? Because even now, heaven is whispering again. Not in doubt, not in confusion, but in restoration. A moment is circling back, and it won't be delayed again. Type I will enter in the comments if this message confirmed what you've been feeling. Blessing code 7744 is now being written over your name. If this message just broke something open inside you that was not a coincidence, that was a holy moment, and you are part of this divine assignment. Every time you support this channel, through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal donation, you are sowing directly into soul deliverance. You're not just giving. You're fueling the move of God. You're lighting up timelines, restoring destinies, and opening gates that hell tried to shut. God says in Isaiah 60:11, your gates shall be open continually that men may bring to you the wealth of the nations. If your spirit was stirred, this is your chance to respond. Step into the overflow. The PayPal link is in the description below. Speak your seed like a sword, and watch what heaven opens for you. Let it be made plain. This is warfare. This is not emotional instability. This is not just a bad week. This is not indecision. This is not confusion for confusion's sake. What you've been experiencing since August 15 is evidence of conflict in the spiritual realm, a direct assault against your calling, your clarity, and your momentum. You are not under attack because you're weak. You are under attack because you are chosen. You are not doubting because you are disqualified. You are doubting because the darkness is terrified you are finally waking up. And now, at this crucial threshold, you must stop interpreting this storm as punishment. This is not judgment. It is jealousy from the spirit realm, launched against the prophetic timeline you nearly stepped into. Let me say this clearly. Doubt is not your identity. Doubt is the enemy's weapon. You are not defined by the hesitation you felt on August 15. You are being refined by it. You are being sharpened by it. You are being separated by it. Because every time heaven releases purpose into the earth, hell sends a counterfeit feeling to try and blur your discernment. And in that moment of hesitation, the whisperers pressed hard, not because you were failing, but because you were succeeding in ways you could not yet see. The only reason your spirit was disrupted, the only reason your thoughts became tangled, the only reason certain people distanced themselves is because you were stepping into spiritual territory the enemy had claimed for far too long. But heaven has protocol, and that protocol involves angels assigned to gates. Michael was not sent to speak. He was sent to protect. He was not sent to soothe you. He was sent to stand guard, with fire in his eyes and a sword drawn from the furnace of heaven's justice. When the gate opened on August 15, it was Michael who kept back the shadows. It was Michael who resisted the resistance. It was Michael who silenced the whisperers, even when you couldn't see it. This gate is not ornamental. It is positional. And heaven's gates do not stay open forever. There is always an appointed time, a divine window, a sacred corridor in eternity when the alignment of God collides with the obedience of man. And for you, that alignment came on August 15. But your doubt didn't cancel the assignment. It only revealed how serious it really is. Because you must understand something critical here. Every time God gets ready to elevate someone, opposition rises proportionally. The louder the resistance, the clearer the confirmation. The deeper the confusion, the grayer the calling. What tried to break you is actually a blueprint of how dangerous your obedience really is. And while you were second-guessing yourself, heaven never stopped recording. Every decision is documented. Every time you chose silence instead of slander, it was noted. Every time you forgave without apology, it was counted. Every time you warred in prayer instead of whining in public, the record was sealed. Heaven has surveillance on your soul. This is not superstition. This is order in the kingdom. Heaven's counsel has watched your every movement, not to condemn you, but to establish the legal precedent for your divine promotion. Because promotion doesn't come without proof, and your proof has been stacking up. You may have felt like you were slipping, but in the spirit, you've been ascending. You may have thought you were lost, but you've been walking the exact pattern of heaven's unseen plan. And now, the question is no longer, did I miss it? The question is, will I enter before it closes? Because Michael is still standing. The gate is still groaning. But the countdown continues. And every second you spend in delay is a second someone else could step into what was tailor-made for you. But hear this, heaven does not double book assignments. What is yours has your name on it. But heaven will reassign what you refuse to receive. Not out of cruelty, but because timing is sacred. This is not about whether you're worthy. You are. This is about whether you will move like someone who is. Will you choose alignment over anxiety? Will you choose obedience over overthinking? Will you choose peace over performance? Because even now, in the unseen realm, the scribes of heaven hold pens to scrolls, waiting to record what you do next. You are not in a season of spiritual confusion. You are in a season of spiritual warfare, and the only way through is forward. Type "I choose obedience" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 is now unlocking written promises over your life. Let this next moment settle in your soul like fire. The gate is closing. This is not a threat. This is a prophetic reality. The portal that was opened over your life on August 15, the one Michael was dispatched to defend, is now entering its final window. Heaven's movements are governed by divine timing, not human pacing. And while grace has held the door longer than expected, it will not remain open indefinitely. The countdown is not abstract. It is not vague. It is not someday. It is now. And within the next 72 hours, if no action is taken in the spirit, that gate will not just close, it will seal. This is not to provoke fear. It is to promote focus. There is a sacred tension moving through your life right now. If you felt the strange pressure, the restlessness, the urgency, the discontent with old environments, it is because your soul is feeling the vacuum of closing opportunity. This is what happens when heaven's gate begins to retract. You can't quite explain it, but your atmosphere begins to tighten. Your spirit becomes highly sensitive. Old conversations feel empty. Familiar habits feel agitating. That is not burnout. That is the compression before the closure. Hear the urgency in the spirit. What was once accessible will soon require a longer journey to find again. What was easy to reach will be hidden behind layers of delay, realignment, and process, all because of a hesitation that should have been obedience. Heaven is not punishing you, but heaven will reassign what you refuse to respond to. This moment is critical. The Spirit says, there is someone else waiting for what you're sitting on. There is a mantle hovering, still connected to your name, but its weight is shifting. If you do not step in, it will fall on another, someone prepared, someone positioned, someone ready. Not because they were better, but because they were available. And here's what the enemy knows, and why he has been attacking you with fatigue and indecision. He knows what's about to be transferred if you step in. He knows the magnitude of the conversations you're one decision away from. He knows the connections that are pre-scheduled in your timeline. He knows the release of favor that's hovering just inches from your obedience. That's why the warfare intensified after August 15. That's why people began withdrawing without reason. That's why your energy has been inconsistent. That's why your confidence dipped. You thought it was just a slump, but it was a targeted tactic to stall you, because the enemy knows if you take one step of obedience, the chain reaction in the spirit will be irreversible. Listen now. In the next 72 hours, conversations are scheduled to unfold. Names will be brought up in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Decisions will be made, and heaven is waiting to see if your name remains at the center of them or if the Spirit must appoint another. And if you say nothing, if you do nothing, if you choose silence again, the opportunity will pass to another. It won't be taken out of cruelty. It will be reassigned for kingdom continuity. Because purpose cannot be paused for disobedience. Yet here is the mercy of God. He's telling you in advance. He's not closing the gate without warning. He's sounding the alarm now. You still have time, but you don't have time to waste. You may feel unprepared, but obedience has never required readiness, only willingness. Your destiny is being activated through choice, not through chance. You don't need to know every detail. You just need to take one action in faith. Even now, something simple is being impressed upon your spirit, a call to make, a prayer to pray, a step to take. That is your confirmation. And for those asking, what happens if I ignore this? The answer is not punishment, but postponement. Your destiny will remain, but the road to it will grow longer. What could have happened this month might take 3 years to cycle back. What could have been settled in peace may now require pruning and process. Not because God is cruel, but because timing is holy. So heed this. The spiritual window is shrinking fast, and the next 72 hours carry more weight than the last 7 years. Let every distraction be silenced. Let every fear be dismantled. Let every whisper be exposed. This is not a test. This is a transfer of weight in the heavens, and you are being watched by both realms to see what you do with the last few inches of grace before the gate seals. Type "I will not miss IT" in the comments if you feel the urgency of this word. Blessing code 1212 has just been released upon your timeline. Now that you've been awakened to the urgency, now that your spirit knows the gate is closing, you must do something that most overlook in moments of high spiritual warfare. You must get still. Stillness is not inactivity. Stillness is not surrender. Stillness is not silence in the flesh. It is a roar in the spirit. Stillness is a warrior's stance. It is the position you take when heaven is moving faster than your flesh can keep up. It is the divine command to stop reacting, stop spiraling, stop speaking, and start listening to the still voice that carries the next instruction. Right now, the enemy wants nothing more than to exhaust you with noise. He wants to bait you into battles that don't matter. He wants to distract you with drama that dilutes your discernment. He wants your energy scattered so you won't notice that Michael is still standing, that the gate is still trembling, that the countdown is still ticking. But Archangel Michael fights best when you are still. The word says in Exodus 14:14, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." This is not a suggestion. It is a divine protocol for those in the middle of gate-closing warfare. It is heaven saying, "If you will hold your position, I will handle what you cannot." But many lose battles not because the enemy is stronger, but because they couldn't sit in silence long enough to let heaven respond. You are now in a sacred hour. And in this sacred hour, your instructions are simple but non-negotiable. 1. Be quiet. Shut down unnecessary conversations. Do not explain this season to those who are not assigned to it. Don't overtalk your obedience. Don't announce what needs to be protected. Right now, every word you speak is a seed, and misplaced seeds lead to spiritual miscarriage. Keep your mouth off what God is still forming. 2. Avoid reactive conversations. There are traps being set through phone calls, DM, texts, and unexpected visitors. These are not coincidences. They are assignments sent to dislodge your alignment. You must resist the urge to respond emotionally to people who are spiritually blind. If it doesn't carry peace, don't engage. Every unnecessary interaction right now is a drain on your discernment. 3. Pray simple, powerful affirmations. Your prayers don't need to be poetic. They need to be pure. Speak short, sharp declarations that pierce the noise. Declare them with authority. Declare them aloud. Declare them often. Here are a few to speak daily in this 72-hour window. I enter the gate before it closes. I am protected under Michael's covering. I silence the voice of doubt and activate divine obedience. No whisper can override what heaven has written. I choose clarity. I choose stillness. I choose purpose. These phrases may seem small, but they are spiritual keys. Every time you speak one, it echoes in the atmosphere. Heaven hears it. Hell fears it. And Michael moves faster. Because when the people of God go quiet in the natural and loud in the spirit, angels are deployed at full speed. The noise of the flesh confuses angels. The stillness of faith commands them. And don't overlook this. The very reason you've been so emotionally reactive lately is because the enemy wanted you to disqualify yourself with your own words. If he couldn't take your purpose, he wanted to take your posture. But that assignment is broken now. Even now, Michael surrounds your atmosphere. His wings are spread over your name. His sword is drawn over your purpose. The gate has not yet shut, and your silence, your stillness, your spiritual discipline is activating divine defense on your behalf. This is the time to let God fight for you. This is the moment to shut every fleshly door, every carnal impulse, every reactive trigger. You don't need to defend yourself in this hour. Heaven is defending your destiny. If peace does not follow a thing, don't follow it. If stillness does not settle after a decision, don't proceed. If Michael hasn't moved, you must not either. You are too close now. The gate is almost sealed. This is not the time to argue, vent, prove, chase, or perform. This is the time to stand still and let Michael war in silence. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if this word speaks to your now. Blessing code 1313 has just activated angelic protection around your voice. Hear this now. You are no longer the person who doubted on August 15. You may look the same in the mirror. Your circumstances may still feel familiar. But in the spirit realm, there has been a violent shift. a holy disturbance in the timelines that were once blocked by hesitation. And now, as the gate continues to narrow, you are not crawling toward purpose, you are rising into it. This is the hour of transformation. This is where your hesitation is exchanged for holy boldness. This is where your fear is burned off in the fire of clarity. This is where you no longer define yourself by the moment you paused, but by the fire that reignited inside you after the pause. You must now embrace this truth. You are rising in spiritual rank. Heaven does not judge by appearances. Heaven judges my heart alignment and prophetic timing. And when God sees someone who turns, even for one moment, and says, yes, with trembling but conviction, all of heaven moves. The angels rejoice. The scribes update the scrolls, and assignments are reactivated. Yes, you hesitated, but the moment you decided to still yourself, to obey, to shift, you broke the cycle. You turned the key. You reset the coordinates of your purpose. And now, the Spirit says, your name is being announced in places your feet have not yet walked. You are no longer on the sidelines. You are no longer in delay. You are no longer in doubt's grip. The chains are broken. The delay is expired. The fog is lifting. The flame is growing. You are being awakened, and you are being seen. In the heavenly realm, your wings are unfolding. What felt like paralysis is now movement. What felt like confusion is now clarity. What felt like warfare is now confirmation that your mantle is maturing. The gate may be closing, yes, but your spirit is now flying toward it, not crawling, not dragging, not limping. You are gaining speed. You are gaining strength. And the gate that once threatened to seal shut is now widening just enough for the anointed version of you to walk through it. Because this isn't about the version of you who doubted. This isn't about the version of you who almost missed it. This is about the version of you who refused to stay stuck. The version of you who rose when you could have stayed down. The version of you who got still, and in that stillness heard the war cry of heaven saying, now go. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not rejected. You are being refined for access. And now, the gate will recognize your name, not the one stained by shame, but the one sealed by fire. Your name in the Spirit has changed. Your authority has increased. Your atmosphere is adjusting. And here is what you must know next. Others are going to sense this change before you even say a word. Watch how the tension shifts when you enter a room. Watch how certain people grow uncomfortable, not because you said anything wrong, but because your spiritual weight has changed. You no longer carry confusion. You carry command. You no longer whisper when you walk. You thunder in the Spirit. And not everyone will celebrate it. But heaven will. Michael will. And the realm of darkness. It trembles. Because now you've realized this was never about you being perfect. It was about you being present. It was about you showing up anyway. Rising anyway. Responding anyway. This is your empowerment moment. This is the divine lift. This is the surge of holy momentum that makes the final entry possible. This is the image heaven saw when they opened the gate on August 15. Not who you were, but who you would become if you dared to choose again. So now, open your mouth and declare it. Not for others, for yourself, for the realm of the Spirit, for the record being written over your life. Say it with power. Say it with belief. Say it like a gate is still waiting for your footstep. I am not who I was. I am rising in power. I am seen. I am sealed. I am stepping through. Type I am rising in the comments if this was the shift your spirit needed. Lesson code 1441 is covering your elevation with holy fire. Let the veil be torn back now. Let every false narrative collapse. Let the full weight of this revelation settle deep in your soul. August 15 was not an ordinary day. It was a divine appointment scheduled in heaven before time began. Long before the foundation of the earth. Long before you knew what calling felt like. Long before your voice was silenced by fear and your steps were halted by doubt. God circled August 15 on the eternal calendar as your launch date. It was never random. It was never conditional. It was orchestrated, prophetically marked, and heavily protected by angelic order. That is why the warfare surged that week. That is why your peace started trembling. That is why your atmosphere became unstable. Because purpose, real, weighty, generational purpose, was being released to you. Not just an idea. Not just a blessing. But a heavenly assignment, sent to reposition you and realign everything around you. You weren't just meant to receive peace on August 15. You were meant to step into a divine mission. And here's the mystery revealed. God did not revoke it when you hesitated. He didn't cancel the assignment. He tested the soil. He measured your readiness. He watched what rose up, fear or faith, not to shame you, but to show you that heaven was never playing with your name. You see, purpose never leaves. It hovers. It circles. It waits. And even now, even after the delay, even after the emotional unrest, even after the disruption, heaven has confirmed, you are still marked. You are still chosen. You are still next. August 15 did not end your opportunity. It exposed your next level. You now know what it feels like to almost miss it. You now carry the sacred weight of someone who has seen the gate, felt the fire, and returned to finish what was started. But listen, this is not just about your elevation. This is about an assignment on earth that can only be fulfilled by your obedience. There are people tied to this calling. There are souls connected to your yes. There are destinies waiting on the other side of your alignment. And heaven's counsel has spoken your name again. They have not removed your scroll. They have not reassigned your mantle. They have reconfirmed your authority. Why? Because even though doubt deflected the first wind, faith has now caught the second. And with this second wind comes the final push. Michael is still guarding the gate, not because you are fragile, but because what you carry is too holy to be exposed to unclean warfare. You are not being beta set. You are being covered for final passage. Let that settle. This is your unlocking. This is the hour where God says, I still want to use you. Not the perfect version. Not the polished one. Not the one who always gets it right. He wants to use the present you. The one who nearly gave up but didn't. The one who sat in stillness. The one who cried but listened. The one who didn't pretend to be okay, but pressed in anyway. That's who heaven anoints. That's who Michael defends. That's who this message found. And now, with time fading and the gate growing, you must step forward. You must move with the urgency of someone who knows that the next 24 hours are not just about surviving. They are about fulfilling prophecy. Do not wait for confirmation. This is your confirmation. Do not wait for a sign. This is your sign. You not ask for another message. This is the message. Your name has been spoken in sacred spaces. Your presence has been requested by divine counsel. Your moment is not just arriving, it's collapsing into now. And hear the Lord say, you will not carry this into another season. You will either step into it now, or watch it pass by for a time that may not return quickly. Let your yes be loud. Let your spirit rise. Let your authority return. Because as the heavens shake, and the scrolls unfold, and the gates prepare to seal, God has spoken once more. I have not changed my mind about you. I only waited for you to believe again. Type I receive my assignment in the comments if this word pierced you. Lesson code 1919 is now activating prophetic momentum over your name. If this word unlocks something in your spirit, don't walk away quietly. Heaven is calling for action. When you sow into this message, through super thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal donation, you are aligning yourself with the very assignment God is releasing through this platform. You're not just giving, you're planting into prophetic soil, and this seed will not stay dormant. As it is written, he who sows bountifully shall also reap bountifully. 2 Corinthians 9:6. This is your moment to fuel the mission. Push this message to others who are running out of time, and unlock overflow in your own life. The PayPal link is in the video description. Act like your yes matters, because it does. This is the hour where you don't just hear, you respond. This is the hour where your posture becomes action. This is where the gap between who you used to be and who heaven declared you to be is bridged by one holy decision, your yes. You must understand, purpose does not manifest through pondering. It does not come through passivity. It is not unlocked through hope alone. It is activated through alignment, and alignment demands movement. Heaven is no longer asking you to just feel something. Heaven is asking you to do something. Not later. Not after more confirmations. Not after the fear subsides. Now, the gate that was opened on August 15th has narrowed, yes, but it is still open wide enough for one soul who will dare to move beyond delay and say, I step in fully. You must take spiritual action that reflects your shift. Heaven is not looking for perfection. It is watching for movement. You must pray. You must obey. But more than that, you must take a symbolic action today. One visible gesture that says to the spirit realm, I choose my assignment. I step into my purpose. This is not a performance. This is not religious routine. This is activation. Because purpose in heaven is voice activated, movement triggered, and faith sealed. Maybe for you, that action is deleting the distraction. Maybe it's closing the door on the toxic connection that's blocked your discernment. Maybe it's journaling the very instruction you received but never acted on. Maybe it's returning to the altar in real surrender. Or maybe it's making that phone call, launching that business, applying for what you disqualified yourself from. Do something. Anything. Just don't stay still in a season where the Spirit is moving. The delay of August 15 does not have to define your future. But if you choose delay again, it will redirect it. Heaven responds to alignment, not analysis. Faith is not a feeling. It is not emotional hype. It is movement in the presence of risk. And here's the divine tension. Yes, you're afraid. Yes, the enemy is still whispering. Yes, the unknown is still vast. But so is your anointing. So is your favor. so is the gate that still stands open for you, barely, but bravely. Archangel Michael is still present, still holding the threshold, still guarding the access point, but even he knows he cannot walk through it for you. This is your part. The decision must be made in you, by you, and for you. Because this isn't just about walking into a new season. This is about accepting your divine rank. Let me say it plainly, you are not common. You are not random. You were never meant to blend in, shrink down, or survive in spiritual neutrality. You are here to release something only you can release. You were born for this moment. You were marked for this move. You were protected from things you didn't even know about, because this day was coming. The enemy tried to disqualify you early so you'd never have the courage to accept this now. But it's here. And so are you. And heaven is leaning in, watching your response. You don't need an army. You need a yes. You don't need a full strategy. You need a step. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You need to obey the one who called you. So right now choose. Say it out loud. Say it in prayer. Say it with your life. Say it with your actions. Say it with boldness. Say it with trembling, even if your knees are shaking. Yes, Lord. I receive it. I will walk in it. I am who you say I am. Because once that yes is given, the gate will stretch open just enough for you to pass. And what was once delayed will become instantly activated. Chains will break. Favor will find you. Instructions will unfold. But it only happens after the yes. So don't just feel this word. Respond to it. Don't just agree with the message, become the message. Because the gate is closing. The angels are watching. And the wind is waiting for your obedience to carry it to your next. Type my yes is my entry in the comments if you're ready. Blessing code 1717 is now unlocking divine alignment and forward motion over your next 7 days. There's a transaction happening right now, not in the visible, not in your bank account, not in the opinions of people, but in the unseen, spiritual realm. An exchange, a trade, a release. Heaven is negotiating on your behalf. You don't hear it with your ears, but your spirit feels it. You can't explain it in words, but your soul has been stirred. Because ever since you whispered that yes, ever since your obedience pierced the silence, something began to move in the heavens. And while you sleep, heaven moves. While you wait, heaven works. While you pray, heaven negotiates. But here is the mystery. This exchange is not loud. It is not flashy. It is not emotional. It is silent, intentional, precise, powerful. This is the realm of angelic negotiation, where what doubt tried to push away is now being retrieved and brought back into position. The Spirit of the Lord says, I am restoring what hesitation attempted to cancel. I am retrieving what your doubt nearly forfeited. I am redeeming the very days you thought were wasted. Right now, angelic messengers are moving through dimensions of delay, snatching back the blessings that were almost diverted. Michael, the Archangel of War, has not just stood guard. He has retrieved what you thought was lost. And he brings it not back to your past, but into your now. Heaven has not discarded your promise. Heaven has repackaged it for re-entry. And yet this divine retrieval is only finalized by one thing: your movement. This is a sacred principle of kingdom dynamics. Nothing moves in your favor unless something moves in your spirit. The gates are not automated. They are response-triggered. And heaven does not complete the trade until your yes becomes embodied in action. So understand this. In the spirit, a trade is happening. A transaction is taking place. Right arrow, your hesitation is being exchanged for holy acceleration. Right arrow, your lost time is being traded for divine timing. Right arrow, your disappointment is being reformed into divine appointment. Right arrow, your silence is birthing angelic strategy. But it is conditional not on perfection, but on obedience. The Father is not requiring you to fix everything. He is simply requiring that you don't undo in the flesh what He has secured in the Spirit. That means no more doubting what He already confirmed. No more sabotaging what He is rebuilding. No more reliving August 15 as failure, because in heaven's eyes, it was a refining fire, not a final judgment. You're not being punished for the delay. You're being repositioned to reclaim what you almost lost. And not only is what you forfeited being returned, it is being upgraded. You will not receive the same thing you lost. You will receive the multiplied version, matured by process, sanctified by surrender, and re-encoded with fire. Because that's how God works. He never returns what was stolen as it was. He always returns it with interest, increase, and instruction. But here's what you need to guard. You must not tell the wrong people about what's being returned. You must protect the silent exchange with fierce discernment. Loose lips delay divine deposits. There are things God is putting in your hand right now that are not for announcement. They are for activation in silence. Let others see the fruit in due time. But let God see your stewardship now. What's happening in this spiritual transfer is not flashy, but it is eternally significant. This is your exchange. This is your upgrade. This is your recovery. This is your reversal. And it's happening in silence, in secrecy, in sacredness, so that when it shows up publicly, no man can take the credit. Heaven is not behind. You are not late. The trade is happening. The gate is open. The scroll is active, and your name is on it. So walk softly. Move wisely. Obey quickly. And know this, what you thought passed you by is now passing back through you, with fire on it. Type the exchange is mine in the comments if you're ready to receive. Blessing code 1818 is finalizing your spiritual retrieval in heaven's system. Now comes the part the enemy didn't want you to see. Now comes the part where justice arrives. Because everything the adversary tried to do on August 15, every whisper, every delay, every planted seed of fear, was not just seen, it was recorded. Heaven did not overlook the interference. The throne did not turn a blind eye to the resistance. And now, because your obedience has been confirmed, divine justice is in motion. This is not karma. This is not payback. This is spiritual reversal by the decree of the Most High. You see, heaven is not just interested in restoring what was lost. Heaven is interested in judging what tried to steal it. Every force that tried to block your assignment, every voice that tried to shake your confidence, every subtle attack that clouded your atmosphere and disrupted your clarity, it has now been brought under review by the courts of heaven. And the verdict has been declared guilty. Guilty of touching the anointed. Guilty of tampering with timing. Guilty of attempting to delay destiny through deception. And when guilt is proven in the realm of the spirit, reversal becomes law. Hit this deep in your spirit. What was delayed will now accelerate. What was broken will now rebuild faster than it was torn down. What was quiet, it will now thunder through open doors. This is not just a return of what was yours. This is a turning of the tide. And here is the beauty of the kingdom. God does not just reverse the outcome. He writes the narrative. He takes what the enemy meant for shame and rebrands it as a testimony. He takes the day that was almost your undoing and makes it your defining moment. It is what he's doing with August 15. What almost marked you with regret, God is now stamping as your release date. Not a date of failure, a date of fire. Not a date of defeat, a date of divine uprising. And everything connected to your life will feel the reversal. Relationships that were lost under false pretenses will return with clarity. Resources that dried up will begin to flow again, but this time untainted. Influence that faded due to slander or confusion will be resurrected with increased authority. And favor that was postponed is now being forwarded with double speed. You are not just being restored, you are being vindicated. Not in a petty way, not in a prideful way, but in a way that makes it undeniably clear God was with you all along. And those who questioned you, those who walked away at your lowest point, those who gossiped while you grieved, they will see. Not because you need validation, but because God loves justice. Isaiah 61:8. For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. In my faithfulness I will reward my people and make an everlasting covenant with them. That covenant is now resting over you. A covenant that says, no voice of accusation will prosper. A covenant that says, no weapon formed will succeed. A covenant that says, you will not just survive, you will rise with proof in your hands. So what now? You hold your head high. You move like one who hath been tried and proven. You do not shrink for the sake of those who missed what God was doing in you. You walk with fire, not to impress, but to release light into the places you once feared. Because when God reverses a thing, He doesn't do it quietly. He does it in a way that makes both realms take notice, earth and spirit. Let them see. Let them wonder. Let them ask. And when they do, you will say, I almost missed it, but grace reversed it. I doubted for a moment, but destiny never left. The gate was closing, but I stepped in, just in time. Now, stand tall. Walk through the smoke with the oil of victory. Justice has come. Reversal has begun. And heaven is still writing the next chapter. With your name in bold at the top. Type justice is mine in the comments if this section confirmed what you already felt rising. Blessing Code 2020 is now finalizing divine reversal and prophetic reward over your atmosphere. Let this final word settle into the very marrow of your spirit. August 15 was not the end. It was the beginning disguised as a breaking. You thought it was a day of delay. You felt it as a moment of doubt. But heaven saw it as the moment your spirit was tested, your calling was revealed, and your future was set into irreversible motion. And though your doubt deflected what was initially sent, though hesitation cracked the alignment, your Father in heaven did not walk away. The assignment did not expire. The gate did not slam shut. Mercy held it. Michael guarded it. Grace steadied it. And now here you stand, not as the one who failed, but as the one who returned stronger. This journey was never about perfection. It was always about positioning. It was about your willingness to pause, perceive, pivot, and pursue again. And because you did, because you got still, because you received the correction, because you pushed past pride and re-entered the place of surrender, heaven has reactivated what hell tried to cancel. Let this be written in your record. You heard the call. You responded. You entered. From this moment forward, you are no longer walking in delay. You are moving in acceleration. You are not carrying confusion. You are wearing a mantle of clarity and commissioning. You are not being ignored in the spirit. Your name has been announced before the council of heaven. Michael is now repositioning his stance. The gate has recognized your entry, and the doors that trembled are now swinging into full motion before you. So now, receive this blessing, not as suggestion, but as spiritual decree. I bless you with courage to never again doubt what heaven has declared. I bless you with clarity to recognize every counterfeit before it steals your focus. I bless you with discernment to hear God's whisper louder than man's opinion. I bless you with divine alignment that everything out of sync would now bow to God's timing. I bless you with acceleration that what was lost in years be restored in weeks. I bless you with protection that Michael and his hosts would war over your path daily. I bless you with commissioning that you would walk boldly in your assignment, unapologetic and anointed. You are sealed by the Spirit. You are seen by the Father. You are sent by heaven. Now go, not back into delay, not into another cycle of doubt. Go forward. Go through. Go fast. Go faithfully. The gate is now behind you, and the assignment is ahead. This is your moment. You are not waiting on permission. You are not waiting on people. You have entered. You are activated. You are walking in what was once solely promised. Type I have entered in the comments if this word has sealed your soul. Blessing code 1515 is now marking your path with favor, fire, and forward motion. If this message confirmed your entire journey, if something inside of you shifted, broke, awakened, or aligned, then this isn't just a word for you, it's a mantle you carry now. And if you've been blessed, consider helping us spread this prophetic fire across the globe by sowing through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or a PayPal seed linked in the video description. You're not supporting content. You're empowering kingdom communication, soul salvation, and spiritual restoration. Proverbs 11:25 says, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." Be a part of what God is doing here. Give as led, boldly, prophetically, with faith. Let your seed speak as loudly as your yes.